I think we can start now. So, hello everyone, and welcome to my talk. Today I'm gonna share you a story about creating the art direction for Postal, brain damaged. But before that, let me introduce myself pretty briefly. So, my name is Łukasz Szybałdin. I'm currently working as creative director at Hyperstrange. I've been working on such titles like Elderborn, Crossbow Blood Knight. Then I art directed Postal Brain Damaged. And currently I'm working on Heart of Hunger, that is completely new IP. And yeah, we recently released the trailer, so feel free to hop on a Steam and check it out. So yeah, but without further ado, let's just start. So when you approach even the topic of creating the art direction for any game, in my opinion, like the most important thing you need to start with is like really good research. You need to set your goal, you need to know where you're heading, and then do your research, right? So for us, the goal was pretty simple because we've been tasked by Running with Scissors to create a retro shooter spin-off of Postal series. So yeah, the goal was clear. We now need to know as much as we can about those two genres. So first question that we had to find answer for is what is a retro shooter? Then what is a Postal series? What is the spirit of those two genres, games, worlds? Then I'm gonna move to the topic how and why we created the trailer. And let me just mark that this is also a part of a research, and I will get to this later. Then I'm gonna show you how we applied all of those conclusions from the research that we had into the actual production. And then we're gonna cover a little bit like really important topic when creating every retro game, which is like finding a sweet spot between nostalgia and modern design standards, because we all know that if somebody like modern player will try old game, he will just completely bounce off of it, and not only gameplay wise but also visually wise. So you need to do some decisions and cut some ways to make it more approachable and digestible nowadays, but also to capture the spirit of old games. And then we will head to conclusion. I will show you the final trailer, the release trailer for the Postal, and you can have your little game to spot all those rules I will render for you today now. Okay, but before that, let me just capture your attention a little bit more and show you the announcement trailer for our game. And just remember that at this point, we blind shooted most of the ideas because like the trailer is a perfect ground for testing some ideas and to see how community will react to it. So let me just play this. Boop. Yeah, there it is. so that was fun. And now, let me just cover briefly a topic, or maybe no, we will get back to it. So, yeah, first question we had to get our answer while creating this trailer is, what is a retro shooter? And of course, we all know like the mighty series like Doom, Quake series, Unreal Tournament. Also, there is a couple of more like Wolfenstein and so on, like the grandfathers of all industry, right? Like we all remember them, we all love them, but they're not digestible today. I mean, there are some amazing ideas that we like cornerstones that we still can use. I mean, of course, to mention that I'm covering only the art style, not the gameplay, so I'm just talking about the art. But yeah, so there's plenty of like amazing solutions that we all remember and love. We just need to capture the feeling of it, right? And what is more, like couple of studios before us also like try to measure their strength in creating this feeling, this spirit of retro shooters. So there was sometimes no point to reinvent the wheel. We also needed to test, like play those games, modern retro shooters, to see what solution worked for them and maybe try to answer why they make this decision. Maybe see opportunities for improving them or you know, making our own way. But yeah, the topic was covered a couple of times, so yeah, we need to learn from them as well. And of course, first thing that came to your mind about retro shooter is square pixels all around the place, which is actually funny because the actual square pixels, like unfiltered textures, if you know what I mean, was only as far as I know, in Doom 2, and probably a couple of more titles that I'm not aware of. But later on, developers actually try to avoid this and try to filter those textures. But you may ask, like, but I remember playing Quake like this. And I will get to that. Why do you remember playing Quake like this? But the actual look of the game looks like this. So now that we have like modern hardware and software that can render it at amazing resolution of full HD, right? And we can actually see all of the details that developers put inside the game. But we couldn't possibly see that earlier because we played this game like this. Our graphic cards and our screens couldn't possibly render the color depth, for instance, as you can see at this picture, and that's why this chunky transition between different colors and different values appeared. And yeah, this is how we remember this game. Very noisy, very choppy, right? And also, we played those games like this. So we couldn't possibly like even recognize this. Oh, there is a smooth texture, right? Remember, all of those games were very, very dynamic. So every frame matters. So there was a common solution to increase frame rate, and it was built in actual game that you could actually lower the screen size of your game to increase the frame rate, right? So yeah, we just played it like this, so we couldn't see these amazing details. But the developers actually tried to smooth those textures out. And yeah, modern retro shooters developers, of course, knew about that we all remember this choppy, chunky, noisy screen, and they tried to recreate that. As you can see here on Dusk screen, like amazing game. If you haven't played it, check it out. So yeah, they just unfiltered those texture, and you already have this noisy, chunky feel to it, right? Pretty straightforward. You can go even a step further, as developers of Wrath did. They turn off sometimes the filtering of those textures to make, color depth, to create this choppy transition between values and colors in their textures without the request for the players to play it on the old hardware, right? You can actually get this effect. Another very common feature graphically, visually feature that you think of while playing retro games is sharp edges, right? Sharp edges everywhere. And again, surprise, surprise, that appeared because of technical issues and technical workflow, actually, may I say, because back in the days, developers actually didn't usually, like, their main workflow of creating levels wasn't to adding geometry on creating them in like graphic engine and then upload it to the game engine. They actually did it all in a game engine with using BSP, so-called BSP brushes, which is like modern tool that is kind of familiar with it is Boolean tool that you actually retract geometry from the bigger blob, but they like created most of their levels like this. So they added on their brushes tileable textures like walls, ceiling, and floor, and then chopped with this brush from bigger chunk, and the texture were projected, and you have like a corridor, right? And of course, we wouldn't do it that way because it would be obnoxious of creating the game this way, but we can fake this. We can actually, instead of creating nice and smooth cubes, we can actually make the edges sharp and keep them that way, like deliberately. And of course, modern retro shooters did it all over the place. Here you have a screen from Ultra Kill. You can see a lot of these sharp edges. Another thing, no PBR. Back in the days, there was no PBR shading, no normal map, no glossiness, specular, roughness, metallic, nothing like that. There was no, developers was limited to only base color / albedo, right? Or emissive channel in their materials, right? So they had to mimic all of those details to sell the story, to create appealing visuals. They just painted over all of those textures with faking ambient occlusion, faking curvature map to like push this flat surface to the limits. And again, screen from RAF, modern retro shooters did the same, and we also did, as I will show you later. Another very important feature is very high contrast and very dark and moody environment. And this feature actually hits, it is like win-win situation because developers back in the days, ID Software and so on, really liked, oh, what am I doing? Oh, really liked this heavy metal feel to this game. Very gory, you know, you're fighting demons, you are a demon yourself, right? So it really hits the vibe really good, but at the same time, if you want to have the dark game, you also need to make your player navigate throughout this very dynamic gameplay pretty easily, right? So you need big contrast and really the highlight in the room, so the player in the like blink of an eye will know where to head and don't lose their goal and target. As you can see on the Doom screen as well, and here our Unreal Engine tournament. And one more thing, like there was the black space wasn't a mistake back in the day, so you can see plenty of darkness all around, like pitch black corners. Yeah, just dark and awesome and edgelordy. So yeah, why not? Let's just keep it that way. But now we know how to actually fix it. And of course, Scream from Dusk. As you can see, very moody atmosphere, but also the objectives, the important stuff, the projectiles are very bright. Enemies as well. And yeah, the high contrast, like, got to the limit with Ultra Kill. Like, you have pitch blacks, like triangle, and very bright thing right next to it. You can't go further than that, right? But also, getting back to those things that we can actually improve in our games, we ourselves catch ourselves a couple of times to going into too dark, too moody atmosphere, because it's really, we all loved it, right? We all love this very atmospherical visuals, but at the same time, we need to remember, like, gameplay is a king. You need to easily navigate throughout this level, and as you can compare this to this or this, you can actually see the difference. So you can't go too deep in that, and you need to keep yourself in check to remember about this contrast, not only about dark and moody atmosphere. And another very important feature, gore, obviously. Chunk of meat, splatters of blood everywhere, right? It's so unique, so memorable in every retro shooter game. There is plenty of that. We all remember this amazing design Shambler. Like, we all love it. Very gory, very terrifying looking dude. And yeah, in Ultra Kill, again, they understood that. We did it as well. Every blood everywhere, you need to just have it. And you need to feel this, like the power, heavy metal feel to your gameplay and visuals. Another very important stuff, weapons need to be unique and memorable. Again, when you have like just a couple of pixels back in the level of a weapon and you need to pick it up pretty quickly, you need to immediately recognize it. It needs to be, the silhouette has to stand out. You need to immediately know what you can do with this weapon. And yeah, developers understood it pretty good, and we need to follow their steps. Fun fact about it, probably most of you heard of it. ID Software actually based plenty of their weapons on actual toys, because it's, again, very unique, deliberate, and straightforward design of those toys, and you immediately know what they can do. The bigger, the more power it has, and so on, right? So yeah, keep your inspiration everywhere. Screenshot from RAF, amazing weapon, amazing design, very memorable, and yeah, unique. So this is the conclusion about retro shooter. Square pixels, sharp edges, no PBR, high contrast, weapons, unique and memorable, dark and moody atmosphere, and gore everywhere, right? And this is this we need to have in our game. And plenty of those decisions were actually because of technical limitation, but it created such a unique and memorable art style that nowadays we actually want to adapt and keep in our games artificially recreate this. So first question out of the table. Second one, what is Postal? And let me just say, it was a hard question, right? Like, to be honest, I wasn't a big fan of a Postal before the production, and shame me, but I really didn't like it. It was so out of my comfort zone that I just couldn't like reach out for it. But you know, I've been tasked to art direct this game, so I need to know what is so special about it, and I grabbed it. And when I catch myself like a couple of hours playing Postal 2, when I chopped off head of a random woman with a shovel and took this head with me throughout the level and making quests with it, I was like, what am I, Jesus? Oh, okay, I get it now, right? I get it now. And this feeling, I immediately knew I need to sell in our product, right? This weird anxiety feeling that you're like, Jesus, what the hell am I doing? But it's also fun. It's awful, but it's fun. And this is, you know, this is a very unique and specific feeling, but that we need to capture it, because this is what the Postal stands for, right? So now to break it down, why it is so unique. Of course, dark humor, yeah, everywhere. But what is special about Postal humor, that it is actually on point, if you think of it. It's really dark, it's awful, but it's on point. And it's sometimes really like, sounds like cheap, but when you think of it, it's actually pretty ironic, and yeah, there is some depth to it. Like, just trust my words on that. And yeah, so yeah, dark humor, but on point. And also, of course, social commentary of current events. This we need to also have. And it gets old, but it doesn't matter, because even if some crucial events throughout the world that we or them commented on gets old, you still remember them, right? So Yeah, this we need to have also, because there is plenty of that in Postal, like in very weird, twisted way showed, but yeah, it covers lots of topics. And of course, the one and only Postal dude. It's one of the most unique and memorable character in these old games, because he's actually everyday guy that just snaps, right? And every single one of us has its own Postal dude in them that just like when you stand in this goddamn line for 2 hours, Jesus, how you wish to skip it, right? And yeah, this feeling, and in Postal, you can actually do it. You can actually skip the line with your carabine and then grab this goddamn milk and bring this to your wife, right? So it's a kind of Black Mirror-ish style. Like it's a twisted maniac, but still everyday guy that just snaps, right? And this is especially important because our game, for those of you who haven't played it, play it. And our game is all about his dreams. So we need to enter this Postal dude mind, and we need to really pay him a tribute. So, with those two questions out of the way, let's get back to the actual trailer. How and why we did this. And let me start with the why. Because as I said earlier, you need to set your goal, you need to know where you're heading, right? And retro shooter and the Postal is a unique idea. Like, we wasn't so sure that it will actually work. We had tons of like feedbacks from the community that they will like to see that kind of title, but we still need to test if our understanding of this spin-off will actually hit their expectations. And that's why we created it. And now to how. So first thing that was ever created for Postal was a storyboard for the trailer. And for instance, you can recognize instantly a couple of shots. Some of them you don't recognize because we actually cut a lot of them because we need to make clear to audience, to potential player, that it is not sandbox, it is not like walking simulator, it's retro shooter. So you go to the level, linear level, dynamic gameplay, and a lot of killing and so on. Not a lot of story, right? So we cut the story bits, we push even further this gory and retro shootery things, and after that we start to actually develop some of our assets. And yeah, our core idea behind those assets were, at this point, what can Postal do have nightmares about or can dream about? And it was really like straightforward, easy designs. And as you can see, we didn't deliver them very, very detailed and by the book. Because again, you need to remember that in the trailer, the viewer will spend with those characters a couple of seconds. So there is no reason to actually make it right and make it like great looking and so on. You just need, it's all about selling the idea, how we imagine this world, right? And what is more, we used, because we've been working on Unity at this point, at this project, so we used HDRI pipeline just for the trailer, because at this point I knew I know how recreate it the right way, because again, it's a retro shooter game, so it should you should launch it everywhere on toaster even, and so it needs to be very well optimized. But again, in a trailer, it was all about selling the idea of the game that we will create, not to actually deliver the build. So and with HDRI, there was like dozens of shortcuts we could actually take and afford. And yeah, the reception of the trailer was amazing. We were so amazed by the community. They loved it. They did again, tons of feedback, so we gather all that. We had the green light from running with scissors that we can actually move on with the production. And yeah, let's go. Now, how we applied those, what we've learned from the trailer. So we gathered the feedback from the trailer. We know what people liked. We know what people didn't understood. We also know what retro shooter stands for. We know what Postal series stands for. Now to create our own version of all of those three source. And again, this we need to have. Like, this is the most important thing. Those retro shooter spirit, we need to capture it, we analyze it, we need to have this. And what is Postal? We also need to have this, especially if we have kind of different genre of a game, we need to figure out how to sell it. So, Square Pixels, how it all started. We did a bunch of testing, then we set the pixel ratio that fits our vision of a game, which was, to be precise, 3 meters was 128 pixels, so pretty, like, not dense, but for a retro shooter game, it was pretty dense at the standards. And that was actually my job, to walk around like a douchebag around the levels and say, this is not dense enough, and this is too dense, like, cranked it down, and yeah, but I need to do it. And this is like, this hits a little bit the topic that I will discuss later, this nostalgia versus modern design standards. Today we know that if we will have inconsistent amount of details throughout the level, it may confuse the player, and it also may tire his eye, so we need to keep it consistent, right? And we also took some liberation to crank it down somewhere. For instance, in character creation, we then make pixel ratio a little bit denser around a face and head to sell the story better. Because yeah, this is the liberty that we can nowadays do, and it's not too far from the original art style, so we can actually make that decision. Sharp edges. So we figure out how the tree can look in those games, those genres, very choppy, very chunky looking. As you can see, there is not a lot of geometry involved in this tree, and tons of sharp edges to create this choppy, chunky feel to it. And of course, no PBR. So this is like amazing work by, this car was actually modeled and textured by Jakub Sieka, amazing artist, and he did great job of hand painting tons of the details. As you can see on this, let me point it to you. As you can see on this shape silhouette, there is like not a really little geometry to create this chunky and choppy look to it, to not lose that, and to sell the story only in textures, right? Hand-painted textures. And remember, as I said, that we oftenly sometimes get too deep with this dark, moody atmosphere. We've been relighting this particular area like 3 times almost, because it was always too dark. Yeah, this is our final look. I think we did our best to crank down our edgelordy feel to it. We use this high contrast rule to assign these usable tools like this grappling hook, grappling rings, or this, as you can see on the left side on the screen, this goal where you need to head, and of course the weapons, and separate the floors from the walls to make it clear to navigate, but also maintain this dark and moody atmosphere. But as you can see, we did our best to do that, and to also avoid this blackness, because we know now if a player will actually appear in this dark corner and couldn't see anything, he can get lost, and we don't want that. So yeah, we try to maintain this dark and moody atmosphere, but also avoid the black space. Oh, and of course the gore. We actually did a couple of iteration of it. First, we tried to like cartoony simulate like fluids, some sort of fluid, but it didn't feel right. But we also created a decals that was pixelated, and it looked so good that we decided, yeah, let's just pixelate all of our particles to create this very noisy look to it. And yeah, it ended up pretty great. As you can see as well, tons of chunks of meat, a lot of blood. And yeah, what's more, as you can probably all remember this really default dust particle in every engine, like a couple of pointing just fontaine around your emitter. So we change those typical points, like this round mask, for a pixel, and it fits perfectly our game. And of course, weapons. Oh, this is like my favorite designs. Together with Frank Radecki, we had a lot of amazing artists. We had a lot of fun creating it, and we really tried to sell. We kept in mind those rules of what is Postal and what is retro shooter. So unique and memorable design and silhouette, but also this goofy, silly ideas to create it. So as you can see, like this is definitely like electricity is involved in this gun. And here you have a shovel, but it's also a chainsaw, so it's a chainsaw shovel, right? And yeah, a machine gun, but with clocks, and you can only start to imagine what this gun does. So yeah, very deliberate designs, unique, and of course we kept our, as you can see already, we kept our color palette pretty separate and like really unique for each weapon, so player can immediately connect them with a kind of image he will make with these weapons. And we actually approach all of our designs same way. So now let me just head back a little bit for those rules. Now we can actually, maybe some of you already noticed, those rules are very straightforward, but also give a lot of liberty in design, and that was deliberate because that is actually what is art direction all about. You need to show the direction that your whole team should go, but how they will go, that you don't show the path, you show the direction, right? So how they will actually take this path is completely their decision. And I always repeat it to my artists, treat those rules not as rules, more of inspiration. If you stuck to the design, get back to the rules, get back to the cornerstone of the project, what it stands for, and look there. And this is actually the sketch part. And at this point, there was no stupid idea. You can do whatever you want with your design, go crazy, stick to your rules. Remember about just two things. It's a nightmare, so remember what can Postal Dude dream about or have nightmares about. And it's a retro shooter, so the idea behind the enemy need to be clear. So you need to immediately recognize, okay, this is a huge enemy, he will have a lot of HP, he's a tank. Oh, Jesus. So yeah, those rules we need to have in mind while creating it, but the rest of it, just feel free and create. Then I came and picked some of ideas, and then we moved forward, make it more detailed, more deliberate, and then deliver it in 3D. This is actually created by amazing artist Piotr Szakalski. He did a great job. He also concept some of our enemies. And yeah, keep pixel ratio, keep it at this point, just stick to the rules and deliver the asset. And we are in a dream, so we can do whatever we want, shoot some crazy ideas. For instance, we decided, hey, let's just, I don't know, create one chapter completely based on conspiracy theories. And yeah, throw Illuminati in there, but because why not? who cares, right? It's Postal. So, and it's a dream. So like the options are limitless and you can do whatever you want with it. But again, stick to the shape, stick to the silhouette, make it clear. So as you can see, of course, immediate resemblance with Cacodemon from Doom. So most of the players will already know what it do. It flies, it's big, it's tanky, it's do a lot of damage. And then deliver it in 3D. Of course, we took a lot of our designs from the trailer. The nurse was especially loved by the community, so we need to redesign and give our love to her and create her a little bit more detailed. And yeah, we put also a lot of jokes in our game, so you can probably recognize this haircut from the miles away. And yeah, we make her our boss. You can actually spot the name of it. It's a Karen. So yeah, we named her like that. So yeah, a lot of jokes. We had a lot of fun during the production, like really. And yeah, again, back to the humor. Stupid, but on point, right? And moving forward to the Postal designs, right? So like this very memorable crew of musicians going throughout every level that Postal did kill them couple of in every game. You can only imagine that they will get back to you and haunt you in your dreams. But in a very stupid and weird way, right? So we have our enemy, his name is actually Arseface, right? So reversed human, monkey, and reference from the Postal, and trumpet guy. And yeah, as you can tell already, very clear design. It's a tank. He's heavy. He will have a lot of HP. He will shoot you with something like a shotgun. So don't get near and that kind of stuff. And before you ask, yes, this is the reference. Of course, we were so in love with this meme and we put a lot of memes to our games. So yeah, feel free to search it around the levels. And next, very important design, the dude. First, we actually designed him like pretty safe, just to, get a reference from previous titles, make comic twist to it, and yeah. But then we tried something else. We decided, hey, let's make him more retro shooter character, so really badass looking, like one-man army. But it was too far apart from the Postal series, so we get back to the silliness, and we put him in the sleeping shirt. And then we open it at the back, so it resembles this hospital shirt, and then we give him a slippers, because again, it's a retro shooter game, so there's not really that much platform for you to sell a story, so you need to sell it visually, and we need constantly remind our players that you are in the dream, right? So you have only one-liners and visual storytelling. So yeah, we decided to put sleepers on our main character. And again, we actually really missed this badass-looking Postal dude, and we thought like, we need actually a villain in our game. So let's make this weird idea that it's an alter ego. Whoa, really messed up idea, dream within a dream, and that kind of stuff. And this is actually excuse for giving this badass-looking Postal dude back in the game. And that's how our main villain was born. And yeah, to the environment, we actually really, our main goal for the environment was again the nightmare, the dream. So we created a lot of visual illusions, like corridors heading up, as you can see over here, twisted areas, very like exaggerated shapes and space, how you can actually dream about them, how hospital appeared in your dreams, like walls going so up you can't even spot the ceiling, and that kind of designs. A lot of, as I said, visual illusions. So the corridor on the left down appeared very long, but it's actually very short, and it gets weird and noisy a little bit, but it's fine. This is what we actually, this is our approach. We redesigned a couple of old designs. We gave them the new look, and we kept this Bartony look to it. Tim Burton-like visuals and aesthetic, very twisted. It's so popular in our pop culture to actually connect those two to like meta world or dreamy world or nightmarish, very twisted, shapes. So we actually give this weird shape to every asset in our game. And yeah, getting to the nostalgia versus modern design standards. As I said earlier, I hit this topic a couple of times already. It's really important to get the new audience on board and to not let them bounce off of it, both gameplay and visually. So, like for instance, here we used height fog for our level because it was so important to us for us to sell this very like a beautiful neighborhood that is just perfect, and this creates this setting that we really liked, and also it helps us separate different like create a depth in the look to it. And also we baked all of our light maps, and first we decided to make them pixelated as well, and it actually worked pretty well because it created this grunge, this really heavy noise to our game. But we get rid of that, as you can see on the screen, because it was too noisy, and yeah, it gathered the look of the retro shooter. But again, now we know too much detail is not so digestible. You need to crank it down a little bit if you already have whole the world pixelated. And nobody even noticed the difference. So yeah, we realized it was a good decision. And of course, with BSP brushes, you couldn't possibly do such a geometry, but we kept the chunky look to it and tons of sharp edges around to maintain the feel of retro shooter, but not to actually make it the way they did, right? And yeah, with this stepping back, we also tried some posterization in the light, but it didn't end up really well because it resembled too much like the cell shade idea, and we don't want to hit that area. We want our game to be retro shooter, not not the cell shade game and modern stylized game. Okay, tons of rules. Maybe you will remember some of them, and maybe let's see if you can spot some of them in the actual production. Boop. Nope. Okay. Here. Yeah. So did you spot anything? Like, hopefully you did some of those. And yeah, so final thoughts. remember, set your goal. If you will know your goal, you can start to create your path. Remember, you're not showing your team the path, you're showing them direction, and let them follow it. Make the rules that is actually can work with each other, but also don't make everyone follow them. Treat them as inspiration, and yeah, have fun with your productions. So, thank you so much. If you have any question. Thank you. If you have some question, I believe we have a couple of minutes, so feel free to raise your hands and let me answer them as best as I know. Not question. Perfect presentation. Oh, there is one.
So you mentioned that Postal. Now? Okay.
Now.
Hi again.
Hi.
You mentioned Postal was not your cup of tea at the beginning. I don't know
Yeah.
if Retro Shooter was, but how would you say, how do you adapt to directing it, being an art director of something that's not really your thing or you don't vibe with? Or maybe do you find yourself falling in love with the concept and the project along the way anyway, no matter what it is?
So, yeah, that's actually a perfect question. You need to find the thing you love about it, because there is something about, like, if the game is really popular and it's a hit throughout the world, there must be something to it, right? There must be some sort of idea that you can get on board, because you're just human, right? So you are a part of this world that really apparently loves Postal. So there's definitely something to it, even if a small bit, but there's always something, if it's a very popular thing. And so you need to research it, you need to find it, and even if you don't agree with it, and it's not thing that you will do in your spare time, right? Because it's not, right? But still, we need to remember that we are companies that we are producing companies, and our product are games, right? So we're not doing something for us, it's our job at the end of the day, and we need to actually take a professional take to it, see what's so unique about it, and even if it's nothing, if it's something that doesn't resemble with you specifically, it definitely does with others. So yeah, you need to know your audience and give them what they want. Oh, there's a question in the front.
So why did you resign from so many dirt on textures in the first trailer?
With textures?
With the dirt, because there's a lot of dirt on textures.
There's a lot of dirt, yes. We did actually do a lot of dirt in a couple of locations. And for instance, Hospital was a very post-apocalyptic world, and there was a lot of splatter. Thank you. There's a lot of splatter of dirt around. But if we maintain the same look to the areas throughout every level, it just get boring, because how much dirt you can handle in one game, right? It can't be everywhere. You need to break this idea, especially if we want to sell the idea of make it a dreamy looking. So you need contrast both in visuals and in designs, right? So we need to jump from this very dark, moody dirt area to complete bright and shiny and very weird, and still make it Nightmare Machine somehow. The Nightmare, if you think of, is also all about contrast, right? Jump scares you have from silent, and then boom, something appeared, right? So we need to create this Nightmare look, and it really helps us out throughout the game to create also these clean areas. Any more question? Oh, there is in the back.
Thank you for talk.
Thank you.
Is this the difficult art style for artists, because they need to design for a lot of things, features, and how is their approach for that art style and graphics?
Thank you. And this is actually, again, interesting idea because, yeah, couple of people actually had hard times to be on the same page with that kind of art style. But still, then as an art director, you need to show them that there is a lot of, as you can see already by the presentation, there's a lot of depth, even in small decision that seems like we get some feedback that, oh, it just looked like an old game, but how to make it look old. And this is deliberate, and this is really hard. And it's not our studio was not the only one that actually hit this idea to create this stylization for a retro game. And not everybody hits it like correctly, and sometimes it looks just. You need to convince your artist and make them see that those rules and those decisions are as important as create a good roughness to sell the story, right? Because at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of decisions you need to make to sell the story, to tell the story, to make design and your character and your environment look unique and consistent and deliberate, and it's still tons of value in it, right? So yeah, yeah. I hope that's answered your question.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, one more or maybe not. So yeah, thank you again.